What's going on, WWE fans? You're watching The Ring Report, where the wrestling never stops. Subscribe, hit the bell, and let's break it down. SmackDown kicked off with chaos backstage that quickly escalated into complete unhinged energy. The atmosphere was thick with tension, and one of the show's top stars was notably absent, immediately signaling that something serious was unfolding behind the scenes. The usual backstage buzz had turned into a palpable sense of frustration, with emotions running high and everyone on edge. This wasn't just storyline drama. It felt real. The scene started with a strong focus on the seriousness of the moment, a reminder that sometimes what happens off camera can be just as gripping as the action inside the ring. The locker room on Edge Byron Saxton was stationed backstage with SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis, and from the very first question, the tension in the room was undeniable. Byron asked how far things had escalated following recent events, and Nick didn't hold back. He acknowledged that everyone backstage was angry and that the locker room was tense. Management, too, was frustrated. The absence of a key star added an extra layer of seriousness, emphasizing that this wasn't minor chaos or storyline exaggeration. This was a situation with real weight. The mere mention that one of the top stars was missing signaled that whatever had transpired had crossed a line, immediately capturing attention and setting a serious tone. Cody's situation. Nick Aldis then addressed Cody directly, making it clear that Cody's actions had been out of line. He didn't sugarcoat it or offer corporate spin. The message was straightforward. However, Nick also drew an important boundary, stating that the matter had now moved into the hands of local authorities. This moment elevated the situation beyond a typical wrestling feud, reminding viewers that backstage events can sometimes have real-world implications. At the same time, Nick reassured everyone that he would personally speak with Cody, which was a crucial detail. It indicated that Cody wasn't being written off or ignored, and that whatever would happen next would likely stem from that conversation. The way Nick handled it showed the delicate balance of authority and care in managing the talent while maintaining control of the situation. Enter The Miz. Just as the segment seemed focused on seriousness and control, the energy shifted dramatically with the entrance of The Miz. But this wasn't the composed, polished Miz of promotional segments. It was a furious, ego-driven, spotlight-hungry Miz. You could feel the bitterness in his voice as he demanded a match against the person he believed was responsible for the chaos. He didn't ask politely. He demanded action immediately, signaling that he wasn't willing to wait for explanations or process. The Miz's interruption was sharp and intentional, cutting off Nick just as he was about to speak the individual's name. That choice of timing wasn't accidental. It highlighted Miz's impatience and desire for action, showing his character's relentless need to be at the center of the narrative. Nick Aldis holds the line. Nick Aldis responded with composure, demonstrating the authority and leadership expected of his role. Rather than reacting impulsively, he explained that any decision about the match would involve higher authority, specifically mentioning Ava, which subtly hinted that whatever unfolds next week could be bigger than anyone anticipated. Nick's response reinforced his credibility and control, portraying him as the stabilizing figure amid the chaos. Miz, clearly unsatisfied with the delay, stormed out, but his exit was strategic. By planting the seed of the match demand, Miz ensured the storyline wouldn't die, and hinted that he would continue to push for his agenda. The moment of comic relief, R-Truth. Just when the tension felt almost overwhelming, R-Truth entered the scene, injecting a dose of absurdity and levity. He looked directly at Miz and confidently expressed his belief in Joe Pesci, a statement that could only be described as uniquely R-Truth. Miz didn't even react. He simply continued walking, likely the wisest choice given the unpredictability of R-Truth. The segment ended on a humorous, almost nonsensical note with R-Truth, delivering one last line, suggesting Miz was jealous after what he supposedly saw in Nick Aldis's office. While absurd, it perfectly broke the tension and reminded viewers that even amidst chaos, there's room for comic timing and character-driven quirks that keep the backstage storytelling dynamic and engaging. Quietly setting up future storylines. Despite the comedic moment, this segment subtly laid the foundation for multiple storylines moving forward. Cody's uncertain status remains a key point of intrigue. Miz's pursuit of a match is clearly a continuing thread, and the involvement of Nick Aldis and Ava hints at authority figures playing a bigger role next week. The segment demonstrated how backstage interactions can quietly set up major events without being overtly dramatic in the ring. While the audience might have been focused on the in-ring action, the real narrative tension was simmering backstage, showing how SmackDown thrives on both spectacle and the smaller character-driven moments that drive intrigue. Layers of character dynamics. One of the most compelling aspects of this segment was the depth of character dynamics on display. Nick Aldis exemplified leadership, calm under pressure, and the ability to maintain order in the face of emotional turmoil. The Miz showcased ambition, impatience, and his need to dominate the storyline. R-Truth, meanwhile, reminded everyone that unpredictability can be just as influential as aggression. Together, these interactions highlighted the complex relationships backstage, providing multiple points of tension, humor, and anticipation for future events. The interplay between authority, frustration, and eccentricity made for a multi-layered moment that was as engaging as it was unpredictable. Tension versus comedy, a perfect balance. This segment was a masterclass in balancing tension with comedy. The opening scenes emphasized high stakes and real consequences, while the later entrance of R-Truth lightened the mood without undermining the seriousness of the situation. By blending urgency with absurdity, the segment maintained audience engagement and prevented the backstage narrative from feeling too heavy or one-dimensional. This balance is crucial in keeping fans invested, as it ensures that dramatic moments carry weight while still allowing characters to shine in their unique ways. Implications for next week. The subtle storytelling of this backstage segment makes it clear that SmackDown's narrative momentum is building toward next week. Cody's uncertain status, Miz's aggressive pursuit of a match, and potential authority decisions by Ava all hint at major developments on the horizon. These threads suggest that viewers should be paying attention not just to the in-ring action, but also to the quieter, character-driven moments backstage. Each interaction, each interruption, and each line delivered has the potential to impact the show in meaningful ways, proving that the most significant developments sometimes happen away from the spotlight. Conclusion. Backstage drama at its finest. What stood out about this SmackDown segment was how it combined real tension, character dynamics, and hints of future storylines into a single, compact, backstage moment. From Nick Aldis's measured authority to Miz's fiery demands and R-Truth's unpredictable humor, every beat of the segment served a purpose. It reminded viewers that while the ring action is always central, the backstage storytelling adds depth and intrigue, giving fans multiple layers to engage with. SmackDown may have appeared controlled in the ring, but behind the scenes, the drama is alive, unpredictable, and poised to set up some of the biggest moments in the coming week. This segment was a perfect example of how SmackDown balances chaos and control, seriousness and comedy, tension and unpredictability, all while planting seeds for future storylines that keep fans guessing and eagerly anticipating what comes next.